Well, here's another embarrassing fact check coming in for Rahul Gandhi, and this time around after the statement he made in the parliament saying that it is the NDA government which brought Pakistan and China together. Now Congress's own former Mantri Natwar Singh has shown the mirror to Congress's sire. Now Natwar Singh, who is, remember, also the former External Affairs Minister, he's lashed out at the comments being made by Rahul Gandhi saying Pakistan and China have been allies since 1960s. In fact, Nehru himself was betrayed by China because he put too much trust in it. This is yet another fact check coming in for Rahul Gandhi, who said it is the NDA which had brought Pakistan and China together.
Now, I'm surprised that nobody from the government side got up to remind Shri Rahul Gandhi that what he has said is not completely accurate, because China and Pakistan have been close allies since the 60s. It started in his great-grandfather's time. His great-grandfather took the Kashmir issue to the United Nations and it is still there. His great-grandfather put so much faith in China that we were not prepared when the Chinese attacked us. So these are historical facts. Nobody is making them up. Now we are not isolated. We have good relations with our neighbors, and our foreign policy is not a failure. We have a foreign minister who has spent all his life dealing with foreign policy. He was a member of the Indian Foreign Service. He has worked with me, and he is now foreign minister. He is well informed, and I am glad he replied to what Shri Rahul Gandhi said yesterday.
But let me go across to Mohit Bhatt, who's joining us with more. Well, Mohit, this is hugely embarrassing, isn't it? Because this time around, it's not just the NDA government, the topmost mantris who've all fact-checked Rahul Gandhi. It is one of their own former mantris who used to be very close to the Gandhi Parivar, who used to be the External Affairs Mantri, reminding Rahul Gandhi that your own grandfather was the one who was betrayed by China, as China and Pakistan were allies even back in the 1960s.
Well, Meghna, it all started with the speech of Rahul Gandhi yesterday in the parliament, where he said that due to the foreign policy of this government, the China and Pakistan are closer than ever. Now, since then, we have seen a host of reactions coming in from various union ministers, and S. Jaishankar also tweeted yesterday that in 1963, the Saksham Valley was handed over to China by Pakistan illegally, and he also stated that in 1970s, China built Karakoram Highway through POK, and also the work for the CPEC started in 2013, and he asked Rahul Gandhi, were China and Pakistan not close then? And same is being reiterated by Natwar Singh, foreign external affairs minister, who was at one time very close to Gandhi, though he had a fallout with them. But he has also stated that Pakistan and China have been close since 1960, and they have been working in tandem since that time during the regime of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. A strong attack coming in from somebody who was part of the government during 2004, and hence he has given a bit of fact check to Rahul Gandhi. It's an embarrassment for Rahul Gandhi. We have to wait and watch how exactly the Congress side will respond to it, because Natwar Singh at one point of time was one of the top ministers of the country. He was the external affairs minister, and he clearly stated that Pakistan and China were together since 1960s, and he also stated that he's surprised that nobody from the government stood up and did a fact check on Rahul Gandhi. A strong attack coming in. We have to wait and watch what exactly the Congress will say on this.
Of course, several of the mantris have been now reacting to it. We'll just play out all of that in just a moment. Srinjoy Chaudhary, our consulting editor, is also joining us. But before we move on, it's very important for us to remind our viewers what exactly it is that Rahul Gandhi has said, and why even the US had jumped in saying that we cannot endorse statements such as this. Even the US has distanced itself, saying they cannot possibly endorse statements which they implied were irresponsible, made by Rahul Gandhi. Listen in.
the single biggest, you can ask anybody who understands, the single biggest strategic goal of India's foreign policy has been to keep Pakistan and China separate. This is fundamental for India. And what you have done is you have brought them together.
I will leave it to the Pakistanis and the PRC to speak to their relationship. I certainly would not endorse those remarks.